And we're live, and so yes, this is a meeting for Project Unify. Welcome, guys. So hopefully some members from the client's organization will join us. We would like them to go over some stuff with them and accept some stories, and see if we're on the right track here. Just talk them through what we've been up to, basically, and demo the application, basically. But let me share my screen first, like this, and yes. So let's see. So this is the application right now, as it looks. I added some basic footer stuff down below with the 3 logs of Agile Ventures, Craft Academy, and Piñata. And another little change that I made is this mentor column. Instead of displaying true or false, I added a partial, and we can display a checkbox, basically, and it's pretty cool. So the way we override the Godmin default behavior is just by going to the resource tag, the resource folder in the views folder, and we create a subfolder called columns and a partial called whatever is the name of the attribute that is going to be displayed in the column. And here I just conditioned the display of this little span.
Oh, okay.
And of course I could probably move this out to CSS, but I just did the center and gave it a green color, basically. So that's how we override this. And yeah, well, by having it this way, we can sort on it. Basically, I was considering displaying it by the name of the user, but I think having a special column with this mentor is okay. So the thing is, the functionality that we have right now is that when we match people, so like a mentor will always only be matched with mentees, basically, right? Now we only have one mentor, but even if I had another one, let's see, let's create one. Let's create this little subretty, the Panda, right? And we're gonna set you as a mentor. At agileventures.org. Password, and what is it? RSpec, HTML. What else do they have? Or whatever. I think you have. Yes. So we have overlapping skills, right? But even if we have that, if we try to match you up with somebody, I will not be in that list, because you're not supposed to be matched with other mentors, but rather with people that are seeking mentors. Does that make sense?
Yeah, cool.
Good. So in terms of stories, we have quite a few stories that have been delivered. So we would like to we have to go over them with the client and accept them, basically. And we have a few more stories to work on. So I don't think we'll be doing a lot of voting today, but definitely talk about some stuff that we can add to the backlog if there is a need for that, basically. Do you guys have any input so far that we could work on later on? Oh,
Shalini here.
Hey, Shalini, how's it going? And Gail is here also. I missed you. All right. Did you catch the presentation so far?
Yes, I did. Yes.
All right. Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Just one thing to add. We have a skill set here. I was wondering if we could have a skill level as well, because I mean, not everyone is on the same level. I was wondering if we can do that. We can say a 1 to 5, where 1 is basic, beginner, and
Yes.
I mean,
So
we can then match appropriately with.
yes. So on these skills we don't have a skill level, and I don't really see a need for that, to be honest, Shalini, because this is more of a general thing. It's not a CV kind of attribute, but I definitely see your point. But I don't see how we can, by having a level on the skill set, match people more appropriately. But however, the same question rose up when we spoke about language skills. So language skills is about communication. So we feel that that is more important to have some sort of a level setting, And I made some notes on that story about spoken languages in Pivotal Tracker, where I just kind of, had an idea about a joint table of user languages, and then we can have each language can, you can have English, Swedish, whatever, right? And we could split this up in written and spoken, skills, and then we can have a level of beginner, intermediate, and or fluent or something. These are just ideas, basically. But I wasn't we didn't implement any levels on those skills. I don't know if
It's just a thought. It's just a thought I had, because when we do a kind of mentoring pairing, when we do the mentor-mentee pair at my work, right? We kind of try to do it based on skill level as well. I mean, someone who's, say, basic, or someone who's absolutely new will can probably be mentored by someone who's, say, on an intermediate thing. So just wanted to bring it. Might be a little more complex, and maybe I think we can I don't know, the client will have a better idea. I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's a good input. So the way we set this up now, implementing skill levels on these skills will be rather hard, actually, and that would bring up quite a few layers of complexity to the matching algorithm, which right now is
just far too complex for what we are attempting right now.
I think so, at least. I don't know, guys. Anybody else has an opinion on this? No opinions. Cool. No problems. I would let's bring this up with the client and see what they say. I would be very careful with implementing some functionality like this, because it's going to be really hard at this stage, at least, to make this work. But yeah, we can think about it. But another thing that I would like you to see is, so there are 3 parts of this application at the moment. Well, 2.5 basically. So this is the back-end interface, right? And then we, for the guys that work with creating some sort of a mobile application. So this is the output you will get when you hit the API and asking for the user's index, basically, right? And then you can, of course, hit only one resource, to get some more details. There aren't many details to get about this resource yet, but then we can also unify this resource through the API, which means match him with some people, right? So we can get a JSON response with a user object, and then an array of matches, right? So these are the people that have similar interests, of like this guy. So this is something that will be useful for the mobile application to wrap, basically. So that's good. And the third part is, of course, the API documentation that we have here. and so we can we can see some examples of the output that you will be getting, a little better structure than the one I just showed you. And here we will be defining what parameters are mandatory, what you need to pass in, etc., etc. So this is the API documentation, basically. Pretty simple right now because we are not doing so much yet. We haven't implemented many methods for creating resources, but these are only the few get methods that are available right now. So that's the way it looks right now. No standing ovations, no problems. No.
My speaker was off. My microphone was off, but I was clapping.
Okay.
So
you're full of my admiration. So that's you can't find words, right?
Absolutely, something like that.
Okay, cool. Yes. So one big thing that I was thinking about is of course the geocoding. And I know that Tony has made some research on geocoding using the some Cordova plugin if we implement that for the Ionic application. But I guess that we need to add some attributes to the user model, like latitude, longitude, city, country, etc., etc.
Thomas, I think Gail is having some microphone issues.
Okay. Yes. Let's see. We cannot hear you, Gail. No. Unfortunately, if you have questions, please type them in the chat, and I try to monitor that. Okay, or any stuff you want to add. So adding the attributes for geocoding could be a good story to work on. To at least to add them right now, then we can figure out a way how to actually populate them with values. One idea could be that so a user's creation can be done in two ways, right? Either through this admin interface or through the API. And so the admin could like type in a city or something. We can use some Google Maps plugin and get the latitude and longitude from there and update the user this way. And then if we have something, if we have an application, the mobile application, if they can geocode their users and send that off through the API in the post request, that would also be great, I guess. But I see that we have Amanda with us. How's it going, Amanda?
Great. Hi.
Welcome.
I can only be with you for a short while. I have a deadline tomorrow, so.
Well, we usually try to keep those meetings rather short, so let's get to it. Thank you very much for yesterday.
Yeah, thank you.
Great work. We've all seen the pictures, and I don't know if the guys have been downloading the video, but it's up there in our Slack channel. So okay. So Amanda, is there anybody else from your group joining us?
No,
tonight?
they couldn't join.
No. Okay, cool. So let me just talk you through this. Well, say hello to the guys, and guys, say hello to Amanda. Amanda is from the charity that we work for.
Hey, hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Yeah, that was the welcome. Okay, cool. So let's move on. And Gail says hi, Amanda, as well. So okay, so here is the thing. So what we have now, basically, we have users, and each user can have a set of skills, basically. And this is the interface for users. And so far, this is like a dummy database. So we just created a few instances of a user, and we can create a new user here. We can filter by username, of course, if we want. So it will be, easier to find people, basically. And we can also filter by skill list, right? So if we would like to find, all users with a specific skill, that is also possible. So if we, for instance, if we go to Anders here and we click on Show Anders, we can match Anders with some mentors and some other mentorees. Okay, so a user can be a mentor, but he can also not be a mentor, which is basically a person that looks for some mentorship, right? And so Anders here, for instance, has a travel, cooking, and RSpec as skills. And if we hit the Unify link, then we are matching him with Kalle, Sampriti, Thomas, and Nicholas, right? So Thomas is a mentor, but and Sampriti is also a mentor, and we share some common interest, and that's why we are actually matching this person to this guy, right? But if the case is that we are looking at a mentor, like me, for instance, then when we try to match, I will only be matched with other people looking for mentors and not other mentors, because there's no need for me to be matched with them, right? I should only see people that are interested in being mentored. So this is a very basic matching system right now, and we only check for common interest, basically. And in the next step, Amanda, we will be implementing a slightly more advanced matching system, so we can probably calculate some percentage, how many interests we have in common and stuff like that. But another thing is also that we will be matching people by geographical location. That is a very important thing. We feel that people are from the same city at least before they get matched.
Yeah, that sounds really great. I mean, that's exactly the kind of matching we've been talking about. So, yeah.
Well, that means we understood our objectives. That's good. Yeah. That's good. So this is basically how far we have come right now, which is perhaps not much, but at least we have this core application set up, and everything works. On a technical matter, we have also prepared this system to be accessible by other applications, like a mobile application, for instance, like we spoke of, right? So we have created a public API, which is an API response, in this case with something called JSON, which is a structured way to display information so other machines, other computer systems can understand them. So this is like the same thing that you saw as a user's index. This is the same thing, but as a JSON response, basically. So everything that you saw me do in the administrative interface is also possible to do through the API. One could say. So we can also match people through this API, and this returns matches for me. It returns me as a user, but also a series of matches. In my case, only one person, but still. So the next step for us will be for another part of this team to build the mobile application and access this data through this API. Does that make sense, Amanda?
Yes, it makes sense.
Well, wonderful. Okay, so I need you to follow me on one simple task here. So this is the pivotal tracker or project management tool, and we for everything we do, we kind of create a new a feature request or a story, and we deliver that. So basically, what I want us to do now, since you are the representative of the client, is that just to accept that we have done certain things. So, we do have a user. You saw a demo of that, right? Yeah. Yes, good. And there is a user's index API, which is this endpoint here, users, and it lists the users that are in the system, basically. So we're going to accept this story as well, and we are able to add competence interest tags to each user, which is the skills list, right?
Yes.
Good. We have ability to
just a question on the skills oriented.
Yes.
Do you have like predefined, or how do you choose your interests?
Well, good point. Let me show you that. Let's see. It is done like this. We go to users and we create a user, and we type in Amanda, for instance, right? And we set you not as a mentor. I say just Amanda at test.com. Doesn't really matter at this point. So, and here we go. Here's the skills list, right? So if I type something that somebody already has as a list, as a interest, for instance, travel, it automatically pops up in that pull down here, right?
Yeah.
But if I type like history, for instance, like nobody has history as a tag. That's why you see that in a bold font with a plus in front of it.
Yeah.
This means that you are actually creating a new tag right now.
Okay.
You know. And you're also once again.
What if the person creates something like some made-up word?
That's also possible. Made-up word, absolutely. So this is also something that there are two ways to solve this. Either we can whitelist something like we can add a language database to this, or we can just accept that they create made-up list and do it as a manual task to clear that out, basically, from time to time. But it's a good point there, Amanda. I don't know what's the best solution here. Sampriti, or anybody else, do you guys have any opinion on this?
I mean, the skill list would probably be from a list of words from the language, right? So we can just have a drop down for all the words in the language that the user is using in. Maybe the autocomplete will be a bit expansive, but I guess.
Well, okay. So the autocomplete will always hit the tags, table. But we would have to, allow them to try to create a made-up word, but then respond with, sorry, this is not a allowed word or something like. Because we could also, it's not just about the made-up words, but it's probably about profanity as well, right? So you don't want people to say fuck, screw, this and that, right?
Yeah.
So I would say let's make up a ticket for that and see if we can find a solution. It's a very good point there you're raising, Amanda. So we will address that somehow, okay? And get back to you on that.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So, but anyway, so let's say that we choose travel and history, okay? And we create you as a user. And now we go over to skills, and we can see here that, let's see, history, only one user is tagged with history, you see? And we can see that 4 users are tagged with travel, 1 with Ruby, etc., etc., So in this way we can see what is the most popular skill or tag or what have you, so. I think it's pretty. It could prove useful in the future, to see what people are actually, tagging themselves with, etc., etc. All right. Cool. So when we say something like add device for users, this means that we are preparing this application to allow users to log in and access some resources, which is like, so we've added authentication methods. That's why when I was creating you, I had to fill in email and made a password at this stage, because we don't allow them to actually log in right now, but we have set up the system for them to do it in the future, so in future iterations. So this is something that is already done. And we are now working on a feature to allow users to be authenticated through the API, so that the mobile clients can log into the system. So let's accept that. Well, we added a project Unify logotype to the to each page, I don't know. You guys mentioned something that there's a new logo in the works. Right?
Yeah, we have some people working on it, so it will change both the colors and the look of it.
Okay. So, but if there's any new materials, make sure that we get it as soon as possible. You know, no rush, of course, but you know. So we have that, and we have this Unify matching endpoint, which is what I was showing you before. So when we go over to your profile, we can match you with some people. This is the Unify thing, you know, and you get some suggestions on who to contact, basically. So that is also working, and we also earlier today added this distinction between mentors and non-mentors, basically. So we can have that in the view, and we can sort the table after that, etc. So that is working also. All right. So accept that. Okay. And this is also. Okay. So the next big thing for us is, of course, working with the geolocation and to allow users to log in through the API. And Shalini and Gail are the ones that are here that are working with the mobile app. Do you guys have any update on that? What's going on in that area?
We've got the basic setup done. I think in a day or two we should have some more traction on it.
Okay.
I'm hoping to be able to pull data out and give it a proper display.
Cool.
In a day or two is what we plan.
Okay. So next time we meet, Amanda, we'll probably could be able to demo this application. And so we're going to use Ionic for that, which they have a system for deploying applications or test applications to some users. So when we have something up and running, I can assist Shalini and the guys with pushing it out to your devices. You know, if you guys use iOS, because if you use Android, it's a little harder, I think. But perhaps not. Okay, but we will be able to make this application viewable by you even during the development process. So we don't have to wait for it to be finished to deploy it through the App Store or Google Store or whatever it's called. But make the test application available to you guys on your cell phones as well.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Any other questions you guys have? Should we speak to Amanda about the languages a little bit? So, Amanda, we have this idea. I mean, you guys mentioned something about languages in your project description to see if we can, you know, describe a user with his language skills and not only skills like, you know, his general interest. Is that the fact?
Yes.
Okay. So we are considering a few ideas about this language thing, and that is whether we should have or not, like, if we should distinguish like Swedish in written Swedish and spoken Swedish, you know, and then if the level of you know competence could be a beginner, intermediate, and fluent. Would that make sense for you guys?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's let's work on that. But good. So we'll add that basically. Which we had a discussion about this earlier in the meeting and also earlier today. So that's good. So is this? Let's see. What? So we've been focusing on users right now only, and you know, just matching them basically. Should we have? Do you feel that should we have any other matching parameters like age or gender or something like that? Is that relevant?
We've been talking about that, and the thing is that we kind of want to avoid those things, like those, because people maybe would like to tend to only meet people from their own age. And one of our goals is to make people meet people they wouldn't meet in their normal life.
Absolutely. I second that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
good.
Yeah.
So is gender something that we should have in the profile at least
Yes,
at all,
gender,
or
yes, but age, I need to speak with the other ones more about that. But for now, no. But gender, yes.
okay, okay. A gender to user. All right. So another thing, what I was thinking about is like preferences, like what I would prefer. I would prefer to meet in real life. I would like to go and take a fika. You know, I don't know if that is relevant as well. You know, or I want to go to an event in a group or do a one-on-one meetings. You know what I mean?
So you mean that you can set up on your profile what you will prefer to do?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure that we have talked about that explicitly, but I will ask my team.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's skip age. All right, let's see. Client say no. Client say no to age. All right. Good. What else? Skills as icons, user times, just as much context. Yeah. Well. Okay. So another thing that we kind of brushed upon, and I think you mentioned some stuff about that in the project description. Do you want to list events or organize events through this application, or
Yes.
okay? Is there an idea about, because what we can do, for instance, let's say that Project Unify organizes events on Facebook. We could probably hook into the Facebook API and grab information about those events from there, you know. So I'm wondering whether there is a need for us to actually instantiate an event, you know, object and then describe it and stuff like that, but rather grab that data from like Facebook or something, or meetup.com, or have you any thoughts about that, or do you want to, you know, create events in this application and then spread the word about them on social media?
Yeah, we were actually talking about if it was possible to match it with Facebook events and stuff like that. So, if that's possible, that would definitely be of interest.
Okay, on Facebook. Okay, FBR Facebook.
And also, of course, creating events in the application as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. For project peer review. Okay. Okay. Create events in system. Okay. All right. So I'm just writing down some headlines here, you know, and then we're gonna discuss this stuff and get back to you on the complexity and on what's possible and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the another question that was risen, the resume thing, you know, like CVs and stuff like that. Have you any thoughts on that?
If they can upload their CV, you mean?
Well, so there are different. Upload is one option, or create one, which is like fill in a lot of you know, fields and create a CV basically online.
I don't know if was that in the requirements, or is it something you're asking me if
I'm asking you. I think I don't know if there was in the requirements. I have no idea. Somebody wrote it.
It's a good idea, so I will bring it up in the next meeting, and I will talk about it. Okay. Yeah.
So are you, if you guys are members of this Pivotal Tracker, you know, you can see those you know, those features requests, or, you know, columns basically, and you can make comments underneath here, you know, oh no, I don't think it's a good idea, or, you know, I would like it, or stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you don't feel comfortable using this tool, you can just email me or Niklas, and, you know, with stuff like that, and we can fill this in basically. But it would be good if we can get feedback on that basically.
Yes.
But let's then I know. Okay, I know. Do you guys have any questions for Amanda? Is there anything you want to clarify with her at the moment? Take the opportunity now, because it's not often we have the client with us.
A bit of an off-topic question, but what is a fika?
Fika is a very Swedish thing, okay? Fika means having a coffee together, basically. And at, what is it, 2:30 every day in Sweden? You know, everybody stops working, and they go and have a 15-minute coffee break. And if you're like not doing that with them, you're often perceived as a crazy person. It's a traditional thing, you know. Everybody laughs at it, but it's the truth. Everybody does it, basically, right?
Yes.
Fika is holy.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so unless there's any other questions, Amanda, you have a deadline tomorrow, so I guess you're pulling an all-nighter. How's that project fundraiser going for you? The
We
application.
haven't started with any money-related things yet, but we are going to. If you mean the BRG?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do it in weekend actually on Sunday.
Okay. All right. So 2 days before the deadline, no problems. I fully understand you.
Yeah.
That's how I do it as well. So, all right. So that was all from me. So we could let Amanda go if she needs to take off, and we can discuss some of the stories, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
good.
Yeah. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you
talk
for
to you again.
stopping by. All right. Take it easy. Say hello to the other guys and girls.
Yeah.
So.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take it
Bye.
easy. Who's the expert on the Facebook API here? Okay, who has done anything with the Facebook API?
I guess it would be you if you have done anything.
Oh gosh, yes, of course. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I know how to do how to pull out basic information about a user,
Yeah,
and I know that. Yeah.
You have the
well,
graph API, right?
Yeah. But I know that there are endpoints for events. So I would say like this, in their workflow, I would prefer if there is a good way for us to access Facebook, I would say it's a better solution for them to set up events on Facebook, and we just display that information in the application, rather than actually, you know, adding a new model and creating stuff and shit like that. You know?
Yeah, I really agree with you, honestly.
So yes, so let's say that we need to kind of research the Facebook API. Yes, research FB API endpoints and see. And see if we can pull out info about a project Unify. Events. Yeah. So that would be a chore, actually. Does anybody feel like reading a lot of documentation? No?
Sorry, what?
I was thinking, does anybody feel like reading Facebook's API documentation? Because we need to research this.
Yeah, assign me to it then.
Okay.
I'll probably go through it then.
All right. Cool. Good stuff. So this is just a chore. All right. Okay. So in terms of the mobile application, I think that I just glanced over the pull request that Tony did, and that there's not just a scaffolded basic app. There's already Gulp is in it, and there's some testing framework in it or something, right? Yeah. So I would like us to set up a few stories about the front end, just the application, and to make sure that we can actually test everything and that everything is done properly, and then just set up like a basic controller. Like the first thing would be, the way I see it, the first thing would be just to list the users that are in the system, you know, using that endpoint that just returns a list of users, right? I would, if that would be possible to do, that would be actually great. Let's focus on something, and once we are done, and I think Sampriti will be working on actually allowing users to register through the API. That would be the next story, you know, so people can register through that mobile application. And I think we need to focus on that in the next upcoming days or week, at least a week or something. Is that, you guys have been working on that, is that a viable option? Is that doable?
We can certainly try.
Well, trying is good enough, I guess. That's good. All right. Okay. Is there anything else we need to coordinate at this point? Do you guys have any questions? All right. Then perhaps we can call it a night. I was about to say. Unless there's anything else, we can stop this recording and go back to coding. I guess, right? All right. So guys, thank you very much for showing up today. And if there's anything, you know, the Slack channel is always open. Just reach out to me. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Live long and prosper.